Hello and welcome to this round 2 clash between the Lambton Jaffers and the Weston Bears. It's a grand final rematch and we're here up at Rockwell Automation Park at Weston. And it was a happy hunting ground for Weston in 2014. They were undefeated in 11 out of their 12 matches, and their only loss came in the form of a 1-0 loss to South Cardiff in round 8. The Jaffers in 2014 also had a decent away record, undefeated in 8 of 11 away matches. They're head-to-head, these two sides. They've met 3 times at Weston. 1 win to the Jaffers, 1 win to Weston, and 1 draw. And that win to the Jaffers up here was a big 8-0 win back in 2013. Overall head-to-head, over the 2 years, they have been taking on each other in 2013 and 2014. They've played 6 times, 2 wins for the Jaffers, 2 wins for Weston, and 2 draws, which shows that this is going to be a very, very close match today. Last week, the Weston Workers had a 0-0 draw at Adamstown, and the Lambton Jaffers had a 3-2 win over the Jets youth side. Pete McPherson, Alex Palozzi, and John Majorowski, the goal scorers in that game. And last year, these two sides met 4 times. In round 3, Weston won 2-1 at Arthur Eden Oval. Round 12, Weston and the Jaffers had a 2-2 draw up here at Rockwell Automation Park. In the qualifying final, Weston won 3-2. And in the grand final, the Jaffers got their first win over Weston for the season in the most important match of the year. I'll go through the sides. The home side in goals, Tim Pratt. 2, Nathan Morris. 3, Robbie Turnbull. 4, Brock Oakley. 6, Jason Cowburn. 7, Liam Thornton. 8, Jake Milstead. 10, Gary McDermott. 13, Carl Thornton. 14, Robert Macbeth. And 19, Wilson Edwards. On the bench is, 4, Brock Oakley on the bench. Jamie Subat, number 11. Also on the bench, Jack Madison, number 20, number 32, Isaac Peake, number 31, Jacob Golding. And for Lambton, the away side, Brad Swancott in goals. Number 2, Tom Smart is on the bench. 3, Michael Williams. 4, Kevin Davidson. Pete McPherson, number 5. 6, Joe Wheelhouse. 7, Riley McNaughton. 8, Alex Palozzi. Michael Bridges, number 9, is on the bench. John Majorowski, 10. Luke Remington, 11. Grant Brown, 12. Josh Murray, 13 on the bench. Myung Lee, number 14. And on the bench, Nate Cavalieri and Luke Willard, number 15, also on the bench as we're underway up here at Rockwell Automation Park. After running through all that, I've got Blake Jarrett in commentary with me today for this big round 2 grand final rematch. Blake, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, very confident that we'll see a good game here. Versed each other 4 times last year and it produced 14 goals all up, so it's an average of almost just over 3 a game. So 2 big sides. Expect them to both do well this year.
It's a good head there from Davidson out of defence, and Lambton just trying to control possession early on. So they go to Majorowski now. Back towards Remington. Good pressure there from McDermott in the 10 for Weston today. Bit of a deflected shot going over the goal line. It's going to be a goal kick for the first time for Brad Swancott. In goals for Lambton, of course, was in top form last week with a great save on Beau McDonald. Wonderful save that was, and probably changed the match, Blake. That big save from Swancott last week.
Yeah, definitely. Ben diving the wrong way, stuck both his feet out and got a very crucial save. Obviously, Dave Tancheski in the interview with you after the game said that he thought it was crucial and it kept them in the game. So at the end of the day, it was a contribution of things that got them the 3 points, but that was a very big one.
Well, here is Pete McPherson going back to Swancott. Of course, a wonderful strike last week. Really good hit. Josh Davidson, wonderful in defence. Now with Lee on this near side of the ground. Going back, Davidson to Wheelhouse, who's playing very deep in this early part of the game. Wheelhouse across to the left now. Brown, of course, formerly from the Mariners Academy. Chipping ball over the top and back now to Palozzi. Majorowski playing it back, and it's with Macbeth. Macbeth with the ball, going across the ground. Referee says that's all right. And back with Weston now at the back of the park. Now with Pratt. Goes for a long ball. And it's only gone as far as Wheelhouse. McNaughton across to the left for Lee. Lee trying to cut inside Thornton. And it's back now for Brown to Wheelhouse now. So Lambton really controlling possession early on. Now Brown again. It's now away with McDermott. McDermott trying to play it in down the right and cutting inside the 18. Here come Weston, a chance here, back stick. And it was well defended there by Lee. It's going to be a corner kick for Weston. Early attacking chance there for Weston. That was the best chance of the opening couple of minutes here. So we're about to see the corner here from Weston. Long ball to the back stick, and it's gone off the Western striker, and it's going to be a goal kick for Brad Swancott. Cross now to Brown, back to Swancott. Of course, we're going to have live updates from the other game. Is that correct, Blake? We'll get some live updates from the other 4 matches being played this afternoon.
Yes, that is true, Ben. There's some
we'll just watch this. Pete McPherson almost away. Well defended in the end by Turnbull. Back to you again.
Yes, as I was saying, there's some big games this week. The match of the round is Maitland versus Broadmeadow Magic at Cook Square Park. There's South Cardiff versus the Jets Youth at Yalinga Oval, which is a big rivalry game. There's Charlestown versus Adamstown, which is a replay of the epic FFA Cup clash midweek, and Hamilton versus Edgeworth at Darling Street, both of who are heavyweights in this competition.
Over the sideline there, and it's going to be a throw for Weston. It's a bit of early pressure being applied by the home side. Of course, a 0-0 draw with Adamstown last week. Adamstown having a bulk of the opportunities. Nice little back heel to Milstead. Just to put it into the box, but Grant Brown does well there and knocks it up towards halfway. It's with the captain, Thornton, goes across to the right now. Attempted long ball to flex off Remington and over the byline for another corner kick for Weston. Some more pressure for them. That's 2 corner kicks early on for them. 0-0 Weston and the Jaffers after about 2 minutes gone here. And it's going to be Morris to take the corner kick. Of course, we'll talk more about the FFA Cup matches, Blake, that were on midweek. We had some great results there. There's ball to back stick. Headers off Macbeth. But the sideline official says, yep, that is correct, and it's going to be a goal kick. We had a big scoreline in the first match. Edgeworth getting up 5-0 over South Cardiff. And then in the other match, it was a 5-4 win to the Rosebuds over Charlestown, who were awesome on Wednesday night, I must say. Heaps better than what they were on the Friday before.
Yes, definitely Ben stated the case for why they shouldn't be written off after that big 4-0 loss in round 1. Came out and scored 4 goals on Wednesday night in the FFA Cup. Usually scoring 4 goals, you expect a win, but it wasn't to be. Being defeated by the last kick of the game.
Swancott on the ball here. Just going to hold it up here. Looks long and looks towards McNaughton. McNaughton's there. And it's Brown that's off the field at the moment, so he's back on the field. Swancott not impressed with the referee because Grant Brown wasn't allowed to come back onto the park after an early injury. As Palozzi goes down the right and wins a free kick for his side. A little bit too much pressure there from Liam Thornton, I should say. They're going to get it to be taken again. Lee, McPherson now. Across to the left, of course, Weston last year didn't have the best record in defence. They only kept 1 clean sheet the whole season. That was a round 2 0-all draw with Magic. So we'll see if they kept a clean sheet in their first match. So be interesting to see if they're a better defensive side in 2015. The Jaffers, on the other hand, kept eight clean sheets, which is funny for Weston. They came second, and only the 1 clean sheet is his lead down the right. Can he keep it inside the line? He can't. Rolls over the byline, and it's going to be another goal kick for Tim Pratt. So, yeah, the Jaffers 8 clean sheets, and Weston only the 1 last year, and surprising that Weston came second with that, Blake. It's surprising to see that. Normally the top sides are very good defensively, but Weston obviously put the goals in the back of the net to get them up the top of the ladder.
Yes, you're not wrong. They definitely did. They scored 2 less than Lambton last year. They scored 35 goals, whereas Lambton scored 37. So that was in 9 wins, 5 draws, and 4 losses.
Davidson now on this near side of the ground. Goes down the line towards Majorowski. McPherson after it. Goes back to Pratt. As knocked back by Turnbull. Up the ground towards Macbeth. Going up again, the pressure from Thornton, the captain. And he's hit Majorowski in the back of the head, maybe with an elbow or a shoulder. And it's going to be another free kick going the way of Lambton. So Wheelhouse looking long towards Lee, and it goes too long and over the byline. Of course, 2 of the key players out of this game, Blake, coming off the bench. Jamie Subat, of course, for Weston, and Michael Bridges for Lambton. So it's going to be interesting the last 20 or 30 minutes of this game. 2 of the stars of last season, Subat have scored 6 goals. Weston's equal leading scorer with Nathan Morris last year.
Yeah, 3 of those goals came against Lambton as well, Ben. Weston scored 7 all up last season against the Jaffers. Yeah, as I said, with Subat scoring 3.
Davidson now to Palozzi. Palozzi looking right and looking towards McNaughton. And another misdirected pass from the Jaffers. Struggling early on with their short and sharp passes. And it's back with Tim Pratt in goals. Of course, Nathan Morris, of course, equal leading scorer as well for Weston. He scored 6 goals in 16 games. And when Nathan Morris scored for them in 2014, Weston were undefeated. So, and he didn't score in Weston's last 7 matches, Nathan Morris. So, not that they struggle in those last 7. There's a way to Remington now. I think they were only lost the 1 match, and that was in the grand final. So, it was a very successful season. Here's Palozzi into the 18. He's gone down, and they've given the free kick, the referee.
Just before they take this free kick, Ben, just apologies to all the viewers at home. At the beginning of the match, we had a delay with our timer, so it says 7 minutes. I think it was about 3 minutes into the game that we got it working, so it'd be about the 10th minute at the moment.
So John Majorowski's about to take the free kick on the edge of the 18. We'll see what they can muster here, Lambton. 3 goals in the opening game for the away side here today. The wall is in place. Majorowski and Wheelhouse standing over it. See who's going to take it. Majorowski looks like he's lining up. He does so, Majorowski, straight into the wall. And well cleared there. Over now with Michael Williams. Michael Williams goes down. Another free kick going Lambton's way. Now, where's the magic spray, Blake, in the Northern New South Wales NPL here? We're getting any magic spray soon?
Oh, I wish we did, as we see that free kick taken quickly by Joe Wheelhouse. Remington not on the same page, but it would be great to see some of that spray, but I'm not too sure if we'll see it anytime soon.
Yeah, very unfortunate. It's always good when you get to see the magic spray out in force. Oh, here's a poor ball from number 28 for Weston, Gonzalez Velez. I hope I said that right. As Pratt goes long over halfway. As it's now it's been turned over again with Remington. A Turnbull there. And now they've got it back here, Weston. Down the middle of the park. Going back to Morris. Of course, the leading scorer from last year for Weston. Goes down the line towards McDermott. And well defended in the end by Brown. Now Wheelhouse and across to McPherson. Squares it to Lee. Lee, of course, formerly played in the K-League. Played right back last week. And back there again this week. So what worked last week for the Jaffers in defence, they've kept the same tonic, and we'll see if it works again. As now going down the middle of the park is Macbeth. He's turned it over to Wheelhouse. Back to Williams. Wheelhouse. Now to Davidson. very strong in the air last week, to McPherson and to Josh Davidson and across to Grant Brown. So the Jaffers just sizing it all up early on. Long ball towards Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse trying to chip and go over Turnbull. Should say Williams. And he's done well there. Michael Williams goes to Palozzi now. Palozzi squares it back for McPherson. Thornton clears it out towards halfway now with Myung Lee. Lee has space and time. He goes to McNaughton. McNaughton goes back to Lee. And Weston trying to take it down the right side. Lee's done really well. And it's going to be a throw going the way of Lambton. Surprising. Majerowski, McPherson, back to Wheelhouse. Very large ground here at Rockwell Automation Park in Weston. Plenty of space out there, Blake. It's one of the biggest grounds of the competition, I've been told.
Yes, it's a very big ground. Both sides will be tested in the later stages, being so early in the season, but they'll be able to use width in this game. There'll be a lot of space in the middle of the park, I assume.
So Weston with a throw with Robbie Turnbull. Those bright coloured boots on the far side of the ground. As it goes now away to Calburn, who turns it over to McNaughton. Now with McPherson knocking it over towards the sideline. Of course, in the last games, the 19s, it was a 3-0 win to Weston and a 2-all draw in the 22s. As the ball runs down and over the byline. So another goal kick for Brad Swancott in goals for Lambton. How have you seen the opening exchange in this one, Blake?
It's been an interesting opening 15 minutes. Hasn't been that many clear chances for either side, I don't think. We saw that free kick in the 11th minute. I think just like last week in the Lambton versus Jets youth game, both sides are taking a little while to get into it, but hopefully, like last week, we might see a goal that might spring the game into action.
Davidson now away to McPherson. Of course, plenty of space. Majerowski got Williams on the left, who's got an acre of time out there. As Turnbull comes across, in turn with Milstead. Long ball towards the back stick. McNaughton with the volley. Ricochets off the heel of number 19 for Weston, which is Wilson Edwards, and it's going to be a corner kick for Lambton. Of course, Wilson Edwards, knowing this Lambton side very, very well. Played for them last year, one of the transfers in the off-season. That corner goes into the 18. Back for McPherson. Palozzi now. Down the left. And it ricochets into Joe Wheelhouse's heel this time. Back to Wheelhouse from McPherson. Now Palozzi. Scored last week for them. In towards Davidson. Lee goes back to Williams now. Moved into centre back. He goes across to Grant Brown. Brown's going to take it down the left. Remington. Worst of the season, if not their worst. So they're out here to redeem themselves in the grand final rematch. Bit of a challenge down there. A bit of push and shove between McNaughton and Calburn. Referee just stopping it. Calburn doesn't go on with it after McNaughton gave him a bit of a shove there. Long ball looking for Calburn. He's turned it over to Wheelhouse. Do you think there'll be any grudges still held from the grand final, Blake?
I don't think so. I don't think there'll be any grudges as such. I think that Weston will use it as motivation. It was the first yellow card of the game going to Gonzalez. There might be a few personal rivalries, some single battles on the field between individuals, but I don't think there'll be a grudge as such. I think it'll be Lambton looking to take off where they left off and Weston looking to make up for it.
Of course, we see here on the team sheet, Troy Hearfield out for Weston today. We'll come back to that in just a sec. Here's Palozzi trying to take it down the right. He cuts it back. Pratt does well at the near stick. Of course, there's a bit of wide out. He was given a tick to play the game, and he's out. So was there a late injury? Do you know what's happened there, Blake?
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue. They were down there in the office, the Bears, before the game, changing around names on the team sheet and numbers. So I'm assuming it was a late withdrawal.
Definitely seems like that, which is a bit disappointing for the home crowd. Their first game of the year. Of course, the big crowd there behind Brad Swancott. Some of the locals here. It's always a good ground to come to. Locals always into it up here at Weston. And they, as we said at the start of the game, a very good record they had here last year, Weston. Only lost the one game at home last year. Made it a fortress. And I think it proves that these upper Hunter sides, Maitland also. And now it's with Palozzi looking towards the back stick. Remington. I should say, I've made a mistake there. Kevin Davidson. Had a bit of a shocker. I'll apologise to Kevin. There's now ball towards the centre. Headed away. McPherson. Palozzi now. Kevin Davidson now. Goes to Palozzi. McNaughton. Lambton have controlled possession for most of the game. Weston have had a couple of chances on the counter. Down towards Pratt. And Pratt will control it inside his 18 and hold it up. So you're watching Bar TV here, NPL Live. We've had about 18 minutes of play here. And it's Weston 0, Lambton 0. Ben Homer and Blake Jarrett with you in the commentary box. Swan got across to Lee. Palozzi, wheelhouse now. Tries to go down the right. Does well there. Does Thornton. Goes down the left side. His opposite number, Riley McNaughton. A good challenge there. Goes long towards Majorowski. Majorowski down the right side. Here goes John Majorowski. Let's see what he can do. Puts it on his left. Looks for Remington. Can he control? He plays it back for Palozzi, who has a hit. And oh, what a goal that is for Alex Palozzi. What a strike from outside the 18 into the bottom right corner, and the Jaffers lead. $18 and a half gone, and Alex Palozzi with an awesome strike to the right, bottom right corner. He gets the first goal for the Jaffers for the second week in a row, Blake.
Yeah, so better finish than last week. Obviously, last week we saw him dispossess the goalkeeper and finish into an empty net. This one was a lot harder. Ball rolling back to him just outside the 18-yard box. He found the bottom right-hand corner superbly. A great cross to set it all up from John Majorowski to find Luke Remington in the box, who here is running down the left-hand side, gets another cross in, but this time Carl Thornton gets onto it and clears it.
Goal scorer for Lambton Jaffers, number 8, Alex Palozzi, making the score Lambton Jaffers 1, Western Workers Bears 0.
Lee plays it back to McNaughton. Really nice goal there from Palozzi. It's hard to hit it first time. Palozzi. And this time we've given the curse to him, and it's away with the Western side. Macbeth going back to Edwards, and he's given it away to Wheelhouse. McPherson back to Wheelhouse. Williams over on the left, back to Grant Brown. And to Joe Wheelhouse. Davidson. Lee now. Cross to Wheelhouse. Majorowski goes down again. A little bit of a push in the back. Defender's not happy, and Majorowski wins the free kick for his side. Not happy is Morris. Not happy with the decision from the referee. And it's going to be Majorowski. And sorry, it's going to be Palozzi who's standing over it. McPherson over the right and Wheelhouse on the left. So it looks like Palozzi will take it. And he will. He goes long and hard. And Tim Pratt watches it go past the right upright. What have you thought of the opening 20 minutes? Do the Jaffers deserve their lead, Blake?
I think they do. They've had the better of the chances. We've seen Tim Pratt make a fair few saves, and down the other end, Swancott hasn't had that many. So it was a very well-worked goal, and I think the Jaffers do deserve to be up 1-0.
Here's Remington on the ball. Taken down by Turnbull. Referee says play on. Still with Turnbull. Back to Morris, and now with Thornton. Back to Pratt. live on Bar TV here. Jaffers up 1-0 away from home up here at Weston. Wheelhouse, Remington, McPherson. Of course, that's the first goal Weston have conceded this season. It's taken 110 minutes of play for them this year. So, very good achievement from them to last that long without being breached, and it took a pretty awesome strike to breach their defence. Remington trying to head it back towards Majorowski, but Morris got his foot in. Did well. And now with Wheelhouse, Milstead does well. And now aways Macbeth. Looking forward for Cowburn, who turns it over to McPherson. McNaughton. Palozzi now. Palozzi trying to turn. He does so. And another foul there given away by Weston. And it's Cowburn again giving that one away. Any relation to the Cowburn from the Jets?
Yeah, it's his brother.
Brother. So there you go. Of course, Nick Cowburn played for the Jets on Friday night. That exciting 4-3 loss to Sydney is now going back to Thornton, the captain. Goes to Gonzalez Perez. He's turned it over. Here's Majorowski trying to get into the 18. Good challenge there at the back from Thornton. And it's going to be a throw for Lambton. So the pressure right on Weston here at Rockwell Automation Park. First game up here in 2015 in the grand final rematch. So it runs down towards the sideline. It's McNaughton trying to put it in the middle. Morris does well and knocks it over the sideline. Last season, of course, Weston with averaging just over 2 goals at Rockwell Automation Park. And the Jaffers scoring 2.4 on average away from home. So pretty even there. And in conceding goals, they conceded 1.6 goal. They scored 1.6 away from Rockwell Automation Park Weston. So definitely much stronger here at Rockwell Automation Park. And overall, in 2014, Weston scored 2 goals a game and on average conceded 1.7. So very even the stats there. But their percentage and of goals scored definitely increases up here at Weston. Here's Majorowski. Majorowski down the middle. Plays it to McNaughton. McNaughton, big chance. Great save from Pratt. Still with McNaughton. He's got no support with him. He goes back to Wheelhouse. Lee looks long and it'll sail down towards Pratt, who takes it above his head. Jaffers, on the other hand, they average 2.4 goals away from home and only 2 goals per game at home. So a better goal-scoring record at away venues. It's away now with Milstead. And with Williams back to Brown. Swancott in goals. Brown again. Now for McPherson. Oh, he's turned it over here. He's a big chance for Macbeth. Macbeth, he's finished it for Weston. Great finish from Robert Macbeth. And it's 1-1 after 25 minutes at Rockwell Automation Park. And Weston have their first goal in 2015.
Yeah, I think that just shows how crucial the save that Tim Pratt made at the other end was. Rolling McNaughton with a close range shot saved, and then Weston go down the other end, capitalise on an error. And as you just said, first goal in 2015 for the Western Workers Bears.
We've got a change coming here. Is Gonzalez Perez coming off the ground? We have. And heading out there is Brock Oakley.
Western Workers Bears, number 14, Robert Macbeth, making the score Western Workers Bears 1, Lambton Jaffers at 1.
So, not great news there for Western. So Gonzalez Velez off the ground and Brock Oakley coming on number 4. And they've turned it over again. Here they go again, Western through Liam Thornton. Thornton, great challenge from Kevin Davidson. And it's going to be another corner. So the screws have been turned by Western in the last few minutes.
Replacement in the Western Workers Bears side. The 28, Lucas Gonzalez, has been replaced by number 4, Brock Oakley.
Sounds like there's a heavy metal concert going on across the railway. As we are about to see this corner come in. Lee does well with the header. And now it's with Milstead going down the right. So can they get two in a couple of minutes here, Weston? Got another corner this time from the far side of the ground. They've had 4 corners in the game, just to Lambton's 1. But that doesn't tell the full story. Definitely, it's been a match which Lambton has dominated so far. There's the corner from Oakley with the left foot. McPherson does well. Majerowski now with Remington here. He's one of the fastest players in the comp. He looks for Palozzi, but he's put a bit of too much lead on that one. Had a bit of a lead foot, and it flew down towards Pratt, even though Palozzi was offside. And they're playing on quickly. Turnbull, so the sun out for the first time today. It's been pretty overcast up here at Weston and in a Hunter today. Kevin Davidson doing well at the back. Turnbull goes away. Lovely little 1-2 with McDermott. Turnbull tries to put it in. Cleared by Brown. Remington. Palozzi. Back to Wheelhouse. Now to Remington. Plenty of players behind the ball for Weston. He looks up for and sees Majerowski. Edwards, of course, former teammates last year. In that grand final winning side for the Jaffers. Remington getting the ball back. He's in a little bit of battle here with Turnbull. And a free kick going the way of Weston. It's going to be Morris to take it. And Blake, of course, we've got a big half-time show coming up. We're going to have a look back at the last round, round 1. And we're also going to have a look at the FFA Cup fixtures, some of the highlights from those matches.
Yes, Ben, as you said earlier in the match, Edgeworth defeating South Cardiff 5-0 in the FFA Cup, and Adamstown defeating Charlestown 5-4 with the last kick of the game. Those two sides, of course, playing each other today at Lyle Carr Oval. It'll be a very good halftime show. We're proud to bring it to you here from Rockwell Automation Park.
Of course, Graham Law said midweek after that big win, that high-scoring win over Charlestown, that he would never accept 4 goals a game in the NPL, but he would definitely take anything, any sort of victory in the Cup. Anything that wins the game, he's happy with.
Yes, obviously that sends Adamstown and Edgeworth, as well as Broadmeadow, who had the bye this round, into the finals series of the Northern New South Wales pool, which will be in late June, I think, at the home of football at Lake Macquarie.
Yeah, so keep a close eye on it. We've got a break in the NPL that round. McNaughton goes down. Bit of theatricals there from Riley McNaughton, or is he's all right? He's hopping back up. Went down with a bit of a jump there, Riley McNaughton. Of course, 20th and the 21st of June, no NPL, and that's going to be the final 4 going through to the final, which means that those two sides that win those games will be going into the big FFA Cup draw, the final 32, I believe it is, where the A-League clubs get involved. And that's going to be exciting stuff. It was exciting last year, of course, Magic and South Cardiff flying the flag for Northern New South Wales. Unfortunately, no wins, but definitely this year you can see the two sides that do get through having a big chance in going all the way. Unfortunately, Lambton are out, so we won't get to see Michael Bridges in action in that competition. Just looking up the ball with Macbeth. The goal scorer, of course, for Weston about 5 minutes ago. Majerowski now on the ball. Still with Majerowski going forward to Palozzi. McNaughton. Very diminutive and hard-working Riley McNaughton. Now with Palozzi. Palozzi back to Lee. Further back for Pete McPherson. Wheelhouse have turned it over here, Joe Wheelhouse. Going down the middle of the park for Weston is McDermott. Tries to cut inside. He looks for Cowburn. And Poor ball back on the inside, aiming for McDermott. It runs over down towards the sideline. Lee with the throw.
Just some scores from around the ground at Darling Straight Oval. Hamilton Olympic have gone up 1-0 against Edgeworth, and at Lyallcar Oval, Charlestown have gone up 1-0 over Adamstown. Unsure of the scorers. I'll try and get those through, but they are the scores at the moment. That's 1-0 to Hamilton and 1-0 to Charlestown.
So there you go. Charlestown do it again. A 1-0 lead over Adamstown. We'll see if they can sustain it. Of course, a very depleted side for Adamstown today. Gary Kenneth, of course, injured in the first half of that game. And a few others out for them. So it is going to be interesting to see how they perform. We've got another card coming out. And saying, yep, that's too many fouls for you, Robert Sorry, not Macbeth. It's Gary McDermott. 1, 2, 3, and a yellow card. So Joe Wheelhouse with the free kick. While we wait for the referee to write in his book. Don't know if you can hear through your audio the noise in the background. We've still got no idea what that is. It must be some rock concert over the train track. Up here at Weston.
It's very loud, isn't it? Let's just hope that the action picks up here and the crowd can get a little bit louder than that music.
Yeah, that's right. As it's now with McDermott. McDermott on the ball. He's got 3 Jaffers around him. They swarmed around him. And it's 1-1 here on Bar TV, live NPL on Sunday afternoon. The only sport this afternoon going live. And 33 minutes gone. And it's Weston 1, Lambton 1 in the grand final rematch with Ben Homer and Blake Jarrett in commentary for this one. As now with Pratt. Pratt at the back for Weston. This goes forward now down the right-hand side. It's with Milstead trying to cut inside. Still with Milstead. And turned over. And speaking of grand finals, Blake, this year, of course, last year, Bar TV didn't have the grand final live. NBN had that live streamed. As now over with Edwards. See what happens here. Back for McDermott. He tries a little volley, but never enough power on it. But Bar TV will be covering the NPL live this year, the grand final, which is great news.
Yes, very good to hear. About 6 months away. Cannot wait for it.
Palozzi now. Turned over McNaughton. And across the ground for Remington. Remington, let's see what he can do. He runs at Turnbull. Turnbull easily nicks the ball off him. And Weston have it back. Of course, last year, some of the biggest audiences that we got for the NPL was in the under-22s and under-19s grand final, which were covered live. So I just can't imagine what it was going to be like in the grand final this year. It should be a massive audience. Let's see if we can get some big, as Lee goes down here. Some big audiences throughout the year in the regular season games. Lee and Edwards having a bit of a set too. Of course, Lee not with the Jaffers last year. And so he wouldn't know Wilson Edwards that well. He probably will now. And referee just having a little bit of a chat to him. Telling him that's enough, thanks. Bit of energy in this one. Much more intensity here, Blake, than last week in the Jets Youth Jaffers match, isn't there?
There definitely is. I expected that coming out here to Bear Park with Weston. The first home game of the season, is it? Yeah, they played at Adamstown last week, so they'll be looking to turn one on here for the home crowd, get a win over Lambton, which they did twice last year in 2014.
I was only there for about 20 minutes for the Western Adamstown game, getting some footage for Bar TV, and it was a very enthralling contest. I was hoping I could stay there for a bit longer. I couldn't, so I had to go to the other games. But gee, it was a cracker of a contest out at Adamstown Oval. Western fans were getting into it. It was great to see.
From both coaches' sides of the story, it was a 0 or draw that could have been 5-5. There was a lot of chances missed. You're going to get that in the first round of the competition. post was hit 3 times by Adamstown striker Guy Bates. Substitute here today, Jacob Golding had a chance at the end of the game to win the game for Weston, but a good save by Scott Carter kept the score at 0-0.
Ball runs over towards the sideline here. Myung Lee on the ball. Goes back to Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse looking towards Majorowski, but too much weight on it again from Joe Wheelhouse. Just struggling to find his range on those long balls today, Joe Wheelhouse. Up towards Calburn, who's been in the thick of things today, and he wins a free kick for his side this time. Turnbull. Now with Remington. He's turned it over. And here go Weston. Bit of a chance here for Milstead going down the right. Can he cut one back? He's still got it, Milstead, but it's just ricocheted off Williams, back onto his toe and over the byline. And Brad Swancott with another goal kick. 1-1, 38 gone. Weston 1. Jaffers won round 2 in the NPL in a grand final rematch. Of course, those other matches that we haven't gone through the scores. Maitland and Magic, of course, playing up at Maitland's home ground, Cook Square Park, for the first time this year. We'll be there in round 4. Big game against Weston. That one will be a cracker. As now to Lee. Across the ground. McPherson. Back to Lee. Palozzi trying to go for a back heel. Only goes as far as Edwards. And now with McDermott. Goes to Turnbull. Long from Turnbull. He goes towards Calburn. Can Calburn turn? He does so. Goes back to Macbeth, the goal scorer for Weston. In the 28th. Wilson Edwards now on the left. See what he can come up with. He's turned it over to Lee. Lee's got a lot of space and time. He goes back to McPherson. Weston surround him and win the ball back. Back for the captain, Thornton. Edwards again. Macbeth now tracking back, and
just as the ball is floating around the back and that free kick's been given away, some information from around the grounds. Hamilton Olympic have gone up 2-0 over Edgeworth at Darling Street Oval, and Magic and Maitland is still 0-0.
So Magic and Maitland still 2-0. Have you got a score from the Jets Youth and South Cardiff game?
No, actually I don't. I'm trying to look for someone to get some info from, but haven't had any luck as of yet. As we have here, Rod Macbeth, that was.
Oh, it's cleaned up the woman at the back of the goals there. That was. She was taking a photo of the shot, and the ball's whacked her right in the stomach, I think. We're going to have a shot of her here. Wonder if we can get it. Here we go. Got the camera out. Almost didn't see the ball coming at all, and almost got the camera cleaned up out of her hands there, Blake.
Yeah, it was a very powerful shot, Ben. Tell you what, a little bit lower, and Swancott had a real problem on his hands. That was a very good strike. He connected with it well, but I just saw it just go sailing over the crossbar.
Weston, of course, have really come into the game in the last 10, 15 minutes since that goal. McNaughton looking long to Lee. Lee down the right. Goes to Remington. Remington now. Looking towards the back post. Majorowski, Tim Pratt does really well. Up like he's playing for the Sydney Swans, and takes it above his head nicely. Of course, some Black Diamond AFL also on Bar TV. And check that out. Of course, Newcastle City and Warners Bay yesterday. Big win for Newcastle there. There's Edwards running it back. And Remington down the right. This time on his less favoured right foot, and he couldn't get his greatest cross in, and Tim Pratt does well. Of course, check out Bar TV on YouTube. Just go onto YouTube and type in Bar TV Sports, and you'll get all the sports we're covering this winter, including the AFL, the Rugby Union, Rugby League, and the NPL. Nice little back heel away for Thornton. Thornton goes away to McDermott. McDermott back to Thornton. Away now to Milstead. What can he do? The Jaffers have swarmed around him and took too long there, and now McPherson's away. A chance, he goes long for Palozzi, who's onside, but the pass is faded across to the left-hand side of the field. Palozzi now down the left side, tries to cut it across towards Majorowski. And now a hit from McPherson, which is going to clean up a car in the car park, off a couple of bonnets and down towards the Western Workers Club, where I'm sure they're going to have a great night tonight at the end of the game. Great to have a club straight right near the back of the ground. And now it's Pratt at the back.
Just keep in mind, I mentioned earlier we did have that delay in the timer at the start of the match by about 3 minutes, so don't be surprised when the referee blows half-time before the 45th minute comes up on your screens at home.
Morris with a long ball towards Cowburn. Swancott comes out and does well with the head. Of course, ever since Neuer in the World Cup, goalkeepers are much more happy to come out and use their feet, head, and any other part of their body to defend their goals in the 18. It's great to see. And we're going to have a free kick going the way of the Jaffers. Almost on the stroke of half-time, an absorbing first half. A few chances, not a lot of chances, but enough chances to give us a couple of goals. Because just repeating those scores that Blake said earlier, 2-0 Hamilton Olympic leading Edgeworth, which is a bit of a surprise, but they have played Charlestown and South Cardiff, who this year on paper, only on paper, are a couple of the weakest sides. So it is a bit of a shock, but not as much of a shock as what it may seem after two big wins for Edgeworth, 4-0 and 5-0. So a bit of a reality check. And there is halftime. So the Western Workers won, the Western Bears, and Lambton Jaffers won as well. There's Sugarloaf in the background as the overcast sky over the ground. And we are going to go to halftime. Blake, what did you think of the first half before the mic gets rid of us?
Yeah, it was a very good first half. I'll just run through the match facts. In the 11th minute, we saw that free kick of John Majorowski's go firing into the wall. We had our first goal in the 21st minute of the game with Majorowski's cross finding Luke Remington, who cut the ball back to Alex Palozzi just outside the 18-yard box. He found the bottom right with a cracking shot. In the 27th minute, we had Riley McNaughton miss a close-range shot, which was saved by Tim Pratt. And then a minute later, the Bears went down the other end and equalised through Rob McBeth. It was a very good first half. I expect there to be a lot more chances and attacking movements in the second half. I think both sides in the first half were holding back just a little, and I expect to see that not to be the case in the second half.
Well, thanks for that, Blake. We are going to take a quick break here, and then it's going to be the halftime show. All the action from last week in the NPL and in the FFA Cup. It's over to that now.
This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
And for those who love to play with complete freedom, this is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
Hello and welcome to Halftime Banter with Blake and Ben, where we have a look back at all the action in Northern New South Wales football over the last week. Now in round one on Sunday, Hamilton Olympic played Broadmeadow Magic, Blake, at Magic Park. It was 0-0 and it was a tight and scrappy game.
Yes, Ben, it definitely was. I think you said as the replay rolls on here, there's been a lot of chances in this game. Neither side could capitalise on their chances. As you can see just in front of you here, there was a lot of fouls. This free kick was in the opening 2 minutes. It was one of the best chances of the game, but obviously the free kick was underhit there by Simon Mooney. Going back to what I just said before, a lot of chances in the game, but both defences stood strong. Both keepers did extremely well, as you see Danny Ireland here making a great save against Cal Bradbury on that one-on-one chance. At the other end, Nathan Archibald did a great job for Magic as well.
Yeah, as we saw, Cal Bradbury with that chance, and here's a little bit more biff going on between the two sides, showing the derby. But both sides' defence is good, but what did you think of the attack, Blake, from both sides? Was it good attack, or do you think it can be improved over the next few weeks?
I think the positive for both Bolch and Virgilian Numov is that both of the sides, their respective sides, created a lot of chances. You'll see here, here's another one.
It's a really big one for Magic. An open net there was, and Magic just getting back scrambling.
Yeah, Cal Bradbury, that was with the shot. Both sides created a lot of chances, as I said, but obviously 0-0 draw, the finishing wasn't up to standard, I think. But as I said, both defences did a great job.
Well, here was the other match on Sunday, the Rosebuds and Weston. They were held to a 0-0 draw. Here was a big free kick smashing into the bar there from Guy Bates. And Adamstown really dominated this game, didn't they, Blake?
Yes, Ben, they definitely did. It was a game that Adamstown should have won, admitted by their coach, Graham Law. Guy Bates, as we saw there, hit the crossbar. He goes on to hit the post once more in the first half, and he hits the post in the second half as well. In saying that, Western coach Trevor Morris thought that his side missed a fair few chances as well. They had a perfect chance at the end of the game with under-19 player Jacob Golding having a one-on-one saved by Scott Carter with minutes to go.
Yeah, and Western's defence did do well throughout the match, although they got a bit fiery midway through the first half. A lot of yellow cards handed out. Here was a chance from Western, just sprayed over the bar.
I think that definitely defines the game, that chance. A lot of space he was in there, that player, and he's just blazed it way over the crossbar.
Yeah, and Rosebuds, of course, knocking over Western 6-0. Here was a chance for Western. This was a good one, actually, from way outside the 18. He hit the shot, and it only just went wide, just swerved with the breeze there. But they beat Western 6-0 Adamstown in the FFA Cup a few weeks ago, so they were expected to get the job done. And here was Scott Carter having a little bit of banter with the Western fans on half-time. Got a bit fiery, and it's good to see a little bit of banter between the fans and the players out in the NPL. And then we headed off to South Cardiff, which was a 2-2 draw between Maitland and the home side, and it was Maitland who led 2-0 at the break, and then South Cardiff came flying back into it in the second half, Blake.
Yes, exactly, Ben. We've got some second half highlights here to show, but the first half saw Joel Wood bag a double. His first two in the NPL for the Magpies. They went into halftime leading 2-0. From there, they were obviously expected to win. South Cardiff, as you said, came charging home with goals to Sean Clerk and Dan Johnson, the co-captain. You can see him there in the picture. There was a lot of fouls there, as Dan Johnson then knocking someone over. There was a lot of fouls in the second half. Lots of yellow cards. You'll see Magpies skipper Blake Thompson booked later on. It was a very feisty clash. I think South Cardiff did well, though, to get back into the game. They'll be happy with a point. Magpies assistant coach Reece Thompson, though, was extremely unhappy. He said going into the game he would have taken a point, but after the game, he said leading 2-0 at halftime, he would have been very happy with 3 points.
And Maitland got pretty dirty late in the game. Here is the challenge for Maitland captain Blake Thompson, but a lot of yellow cards handed out to Maitland late on. Now, Blake, here are the fans getting into it. It's great to see all the South Cardiff fans on the hill. And here was Blake Thompson copping one, Blake, where you really don't want to cop it.
Yeah, he's a good defender. He'll take those for his team every single round of this competition. So they're a strong backline, Maitland. But yes, you did not want to be getting hit there.
Now, Matt Thompson, of course, playing his first match in the NPL. Mixed reports from many on how he played. He'll get better and stronger throughout the competition, won't he?
He definitely will. He's a big signing for the Magpies, especially. He's a good signing for the NPL as well. It really raises the profile of the competition. But yeah, he will. He'll definitely benefit Maitland with his experience, I believe.
And there was him just getting absolutely bowled over by one of the South Cardiff midfielders. And he was the ground, of course, Ulinga Oval. It's going to be a big year for South Cardiff there. And hopefully they can get a few results for their home fans. Now, of course, in the other matches on Friday night, Edgeworth beat Charlestown 4-0, and the match we did on Saturday was a 3-2 win for the Jaffas over the Jets Youth. Now, also Wednesday night, it was the FFA Cup, and it was battles between Adamstown and Charlestown, and Edgeworth took on South Cardiff, and here are the reviews from both of those matches. So now we're going to have a look at the NPL ladder. And after the first round, it's Edgeworth up the top, Lambton in second, and then Maitland, South Cardiff, Magic, the Workers, Olympic and Rosebuds all in a logjam on 1 point. The Jets Youth and Charlestown down the bottom. Now, Blake, is it going to be a long year for the Charlestown Blues?
I think after the first game, many could predict that it will be a long game for Charlestown. I think this weekend will be a big test for them in answering those critics. I don't believe it'll be a long season for them. In their FFA Cup third round game against Maitland, they were down twice and they battled resiliently to come back and win 3-2. I think they're a very good team. There's a lot of talent across the park, and I think Shane Price will have them firing in rounds to come.
Now we're going to have a look at the new FM league table. Of course, very important to see who does get put up to the NPL next year. Lake Macquarie dominating at the moment. Tell us about those Walker brothers.
Yes, Sam Walker especially, he's scored 12 goals already. 8 of those have come in 2 separate matches. He's a big player. He and his brother have scored 17 of the side's 24 goals. So that is definitely something that you want. That's more than any other team has scored in all their rounds put together. So I definitely see Lake Macquarie sitting up there in the green at the end of this season.
So you think Lake Macquarie will get promoted? That's your tip?
That's definitely my tip.
Okie doke. Well, that wraps it up from our first show, the halftime banter with Blake and Ben. And until next round, it's goodbye. So second half action now, Weston and Lambton. We're about to get underway. 1-1 in this one, round 2. Well, Blake's going to go through the scores, halftime scores at the other ground. And we are underway.
So at Cook Square Park, we have Broadmeadow Magic leading Maitland 2-0 at halftime, thanks to 2 Dino Fajovic goals. Charlestown took a 2-0 lead into the halftime break over Adamstown.
We'll just see Turnbull here. He puts it back stick. Call for handball. We'll see what happens. Another shot. Great save from Swancott. one-handed away, and McNaughton's going to hang on to it here, Blake, and we'll go back to you. Great save from Brad Swancott early in the second half. As Williams puts the ball over the top now. We've got an offside, so now you can have a chat.
Yeah, two very good disruptions there. The first 40 seconds, the game's roared into life. The third game was Hamilton leading Edgeworth 2-0 at Darling Street Oval. So 1-0 here at halftime, 3 2-0 scores around the ground. And I'm not sure still about the South Cardiff and Jets Youth score. I found out an extra piece of information just behind the trees. Actually, I'll come back to that in a minute, as Riley McNaughton dispossessed by Oakley. Wilson clears. Just behind the trees over there on the far side, which you can see behind the cars, is a skate park, and there is a skateboarding competition going on. That's where all that music's coming from.
There we go. So we've solved the problem. Although it's still going to continue in the second half, you'd think. It's gone quiet, actually. Can't hear any noise, so hopefully they've got a break for the next 45 minutes as it runs down to Tim Pratt. Ball over to the sideline, running over towards the sideline, and a throw going the way of the Bears. So 1-1 at the moment, early on in the second half. Got the clock working in the second half early, Blake, which is great. He's trying to take it down the line with Milstead. Of course, the goal scorers, Alex Palozzi, great goal in the 21st minute. And then in the 28th, it was Robert Macbeth with an opportunistic goal after an error at the back from Lambton. As Alex Palozzi, look at this space on this ground, Blake. Over on the far side, Luke Remington's got an acre of space. As Majorowski, we'll see what he can do. He goes over to Remington. Remington looks for Palozzi, the goal scorer. Palozzi now down the right. Good challenge there from Weston's Liam Thornton, and it's going to be a goal kick. Alex Palozzi probably been one of Lambton's best in the opening 2 rounds of the competition this year. A goal last week. And Tim Pratt, as here comes the train here at Weston. Coming on in the background of Tim Pratt's goal kick. Long ball down the field. McNaughton going up. Williams under pressure because Cowburn's after him. He turns away from him. Looks down the line. McNaughton. McNaughton across the ground to Lee. Lee over on the right. So we've got more noise, Blake. We've had the skate park and now we've got the train.
It's all happening here today at Weston. An additional piece of information I found at half time, Ben, was that Gonzalez, that was replaced by Oakley, was not injured. So I'm assuming it was a tactical substitution, or maybe Trevor Morris just thought he wasn't up to scratch, but just repeat that, Gonzalez was not injured.
Well, there you go. That is probably one of the worst feelings in football, getting subbed off before half-time when you're not injured. As here goes Palozzi down the right, looking for Majorowski. Great well, not the best control, actually. Off his chest, it ballooned up, and Remington at the back stick. He goes down, Luke Remington. It was minimal contact, you could say, between him and former teammate Wilson Edwards. And Wilson Edwards hasn't even gone over to check how he is. Said there was nothing in that. And Luke Remington, of course, last week injuring his lip. Got a bit of a cut lip. This week he's down again. So there you go. Bit of drama. Gonzalez Velez off the ground. Switch with Brock Oakley. Tactical substitution from Trevor Morris, the Western coach. Of course, check out our coaches' interviews at the end of the game on the Bar TV YouTube channel. Here's Palozzi going. Lee with his first chance in Jaffa's colours. Smacks it into the advertising signage at the back of Rockwell Automation Park. Great name for a home ground up here at Weston. And it's going to be Tim Pratt with the goal kick. 5 minutes gone in the second half, or 50 gone in the game. And it's the Western Bears 1, the Jaffas 1. Of course, as we were saying at the start, the head-to-head record up here. 3 times they've played at Rockwell Automation Park. A win each and a draw. And that win for Lambton, 8-0. Very impressive back in 2013. Of course, back in 2013, I'll have to go to you on that one, Blake. How did the Bears go in 2013? Was it a tough year for them?
Oh, I cannot remember. I would not have a clue. I'd have to get an archive table out.
That's right. You'll have to go get the parchments. I think it's that long ago. Palozzi goes back to Brown. And now across to McNaughton. Once again in the thick of things, Riley McNaughton. Lee across the ground. And now with Joe Wheelhouse. Now I should give a shout out to my cricket team. I had to leave my presentation early. So I'm sorry I had to leave, boys. And I think a few boys that might be watching. Nick Burns, Aidan White, Ryan Boyd. I'll give them a shout out. They wanted me to give them a shout out. So there you go, boys. As now it's with Macbeth. He has a hit with his left. And yeah, I don't quite know where that was aimed at. I think he was trying to hit one of the cars near the corner post on the far side of the field. Not one of his best ever segs from Gary McDermott. And it's with Brad Swancott going out to Kevin Davidson on the right. Swancott again. Brilliant save after half-time. One-handed, did really well. As now it's with Brown trying to chip it over the top for Wheelhouse, who hasn't been at his best today. Joe Wheelhouse. And Tim Pratt goes long towards Michael Williams. And it's now with Milstead going across the ground. He squares it up for McDermott. McDermott turning, lovely skill. Goes away to Cowburn. Cowburn across to the left. And charging after it is Thornton. Liam and Carl Thornton in the side. And McPherson gets up for the head. McPherson again, this time off the shoulder. Now it's with McDermott. He has a hit, it deflects away. Macbeth tries to control, can't do so. As it's now gone from Brown and away to Palozzi. Palozzi, he gets crunched in between Edwards. Here's Remington, big chance, he plays the ball, and Matt Jarosky going one-on-one with Pratt. Great save, Tim Pratt. Although he hit it straight at him, John Majerowski. Down the left, he squares it. Wheelhouse, nice control. Really nice control from Wheelhouse. Now it's with Palozzi. And attempted clearance ricochets off Palozzi and over the byline. And Blake, is there a family connection between?
Would you please remove yourself? Thank you.
Is there a family connection between Liam Thornton and Carl Thornton?
Yes, they two are brothers. A good combination here for the Bears. The Thorntons are cousins with Jason Cowburn up front, so bit of a family team, this one. They have a good connection back there. Carl and Liam Thornton. Liam, obviously, this year we've seen him push up higher up the field. He was a left back last season. Today playing as a left winger midfielder.
And I understand you've got a score there from South Cardiff.
Yes, the Jets youth are leading South Cardiff 3-1 early in the second half. Sean Clerk scored his second goal of the season for South Cardiff, and goals to the Jets were by Pavicevic, Enzo and Alderson.
So Radovan getting on the score sheet for the Jets youth. Only took a couple of games and he's back on the score sheet. So he scored 8 goals in 11 games last year before he was injured. So he was awesome last year for them. So we'll see how it goes this year. Of course, if you haven't already heard, the Jets youth won't be playing finals this year. Too close to their youth league season in the A-League. As now with Grant Brown. Of course, he knows the Mariners Academy well. Formerly in the Mariners, as the Jaffers fans go up for a penalty after Wheelhouse was taken down. No penalty given. Lee tries to take it down the right, and it goes over the sideline, and we've got, surely it's Bridgie time already. He came into the game last week 10 minutes in, Blake, so I'm surprised he's not wandering up to the sideline yet. I'm trying to see if there's any warm-ups going on. And over to the right side, we do have warm-ups. If the ball goes down there, we might be able to get our camera looking down towards there. Well, Bridges and his Jaffers teammates just warming up down the Jaffers defensive end, so Brad Swancott's end. Back to Thornton, and now back to Pratt. in goals. Looks long down the middle of the ground. Now it's with Macbeth. Macbeth's away down the right. He goes to Milstead. Michael Williams read it beautifully and cut it out. McNaughton back to Grant Brown. Still with Grant Brown. Well done there from Thornton, Liam Thornton. And it's been turned over. Well, has it? He's got through here. Bit of frustration from Weston, and then the ball raced away from Oakley there. Williams, pressure on Milstead, and the Weston fans are up because it's another corner for the home side. Their 5th of the game. And down there in that corner, that's where the Jets are warming up. So we've got Bridges down there. We'll see if we can spot him. Can't really see Michael Bridges at the moment. There he is, in the middle there of screen with the orange bib on. Had 3 shots last week and went very, very close to scoring. And have a look at this, only 4 Western players in the box, and every man his dog's in there for the Jaffers. Swancott punches and is going to win another corner, is it? It has gone down to the corner. As now it's with, got a whistle from the referee. And we've got an injury to Thornton. So the referee's held up the match. While Thornton, Carl Thornton, the captain of the Western side, getting a little bit of tape on his left quad, I think it is there. And the corner's going to be retaken. So it's going to be Nathan Morris, as we said earlier, leading scorer for Western last year. Goes back. Headed away, Oakley. Here comes Swancott. Swancott's way out of possession here. Swancott is way out of position. Ball put towards the middle. There's no keeper in goals. Oh, big chance. Swancott didn't even try and get back. He just stood way on the edge of his 18 in no man's land, and chance was spurned there by Robert Macbeth. Big chance there, wasn't it, Blake?
Yes, it was. I think that was Macbeth just in behind. I think it was Jason Cowburn with the header that went over the bar. A very, very good chance for Weston to equalise, an open goal virtually. There were a few Jaffers players on the line, but obviously they can't use their hands. Down the other end, Joe Wheelhouse with a cross in the box. Alex Polozzi drops it short, ends up back with it. John Madrowski with the shot, flies over the crossbar.
John Madrowski getting the wedge under that one, just skies it up over the goals.
So chances at both ends early in the second half, and I've just got news through that Charlestown have gone up 3-0 against Adamstown.
Because you were saying 7 to 9 players out for Adamstown, so that's a tough one for Graham Law's men. And Charlestown, Shane Price is going to be happy with that one. Of course, Matt Tull, of course, out again this week. And McPherson's taken down. He went down very quickly there, Pete McPherson. Legs taken out from under him. A challenge there from Jason Cowburn, who has been in the thick of things today up here at Weston at Rockwell Automation Park. And we've got down there on the sideline of Remington the problem with his shirt, I think it is. Not sure what is going on. Have we got a change? So Luke Remington coming to the ground. And Tom Smart is going to go on. Not quite sure what.
On the Lambton Jaffa side, number 11, Luke Remington's been
Not quite sure what was going on there. As it's now with Myung Lee.
David Saker, could you
Further back to Swancott in goals for Lambton. Plays across to Brown. Now for McPherson. Cross to Davidson. And the Jaffers cross over on the right. And with Lee and Davidson now. So still 1-1. Getting pretty windy up here at Rockwell Automation Park. Intense game early on in the second half. Both sides having some chances. Here's Milstead. And charging at him was Tom Smart. We'll talk about Tom Smart in just a sec, Blake. He was a very important player for the Jaffers last year. Of course, didn't play last week due to an injury, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, Ben, 2 trues. A very big player.
Wheelhouse finds Smart here, Blake. Sorry about that. And we'll see what he can do, Tommy Smart. Looks down the left. Can he cut it in? Still with Smart. Squaring it across the face. Weston do well, and back to you.
As you were saying, yeah, he was a very big player for the Jaffers last season, especially in that grand final win, or taking him to that grand final win, sorry. He was a late exclusion last week due to an injury. I believe that was in the warm-up. He's back today, obviously. It was a pre-season that Dave Tancheski said was successful playing-wise and results-wise, but unsuccessful in terms of injuries. We had Joe Wheelhouse play a handful of games, maybe even 2 or 3, I think. Michael Bridges was out for most of the pre-season as well, and Michael Sessions, who is still out, not playing today.
Of course, Joe Wheelhouse, you definitely can see that he's had lack of match practice. He struggled with his range today with those long balls. We've got a free kick here for Weston. See what he can do here. Looks long and looks toward. Oh, done well. They've done well there, the Jaffers. It's now its way with Cowburn. Down in the box is Oakley. He's in a bit of trouble. It looks like it's in the collarbone area. Brock Oakley here. Referee allowing the Western trainer to come out onto the ground. Bit of a break in the game's in a lot of trouble here. Remember, here on Bar TV, if you want to, we don't have the replay machine with us, but if you want to have a look at the replay, just scroll back in the video and you can see it all over again to see what's happened. One all, 17.5 gone in the second half. Western 1, Jaffers 1 at Rockwell Automation Park. Ben Homer and Blake Jarrett with you in commentary on Bar TV. And just while we have the quick break, we should remind our viewers that next week, Blake, we're at Adamstown Oval for the big match between Adamstown and Hamilton Olympics. So we'll see if Adamstown have still got those players out. Hopefully a few come back for that one.
I think we'll see Stu Mashalik return to the starting lineup for Rosebuds. He hasn't started the match yet. He missed last week through injury. With all their injuries at the club, he had to fast-track his return, and today he's on the bench. But back to the action.
He's smart
here.
now for Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse. Oh, well done there from Thornton. Referee gives the free kick towards Weston, and it's 1-1 still. Chance for Wheelhouse, but probably the second touch a little bit too heavy. And Michael Bridges definitely came to the sideline there, so we'll see if he's about to come on. Weston also look like they're about to make a change. No, they're not. Oakley's just about to come back onto the ground after. Here he is, Brock Oakley coming back on after that injury down the far end with Swancott from the free kick from Weston. Looking long now, looking down towards Milstead, cutting inside, running towards the sideline. Smart now. Smart to Palozzi. Palozzi back to Brown. Brown looking towards the goalkeeper, Swancott. Kevin Davidson. And now with Majorowski. Scored last week for the Jaffers. Gone close today, had a couple of chances. Lee. And McNaughton, of course, Cale Bradbury last year, the Jaffers' leading scorer, playing for the Magic. This year they're up 2-0 against Maitland. That was the latest score we got from Cook Square Park, Maitland's first game at home this year. And here he comes. Here we go. Michael Bridges about to come onto the ground for the Jaffers for the last 25 minutes. And we should say he's going to have a chat to us in our halftime show in a few weeks' time, so be watching for that one. Big interview with Michael Bridges about everything he's been involved in his career. And here he comes. So Alex Bortzi comes from the ground, and he should deserve a round of applause from the Jaffers faithful. He's been wonderful today, and Bridges comes on. Long throw there from McNaughton. Ball header, Majorowski gets up. Now Bridges there. Well, 30 seconds on the ground, and Bridges has his first chance. Not much power behind it, but Tim Pratt does well in goals for Weston. Runs down towards Grant Brown. Takes it over the sideline, and Weston win the throw. And the best thing about this ground today, Blake, is so wide and open that there's just chances galore, so much space for attacking plays. There's a long ball from McDermott, looking towards the middle, and Lee does well. McNaughton, Majorowski, and now across to Tom Smart. There's so much space, you think something's gonna happen all the time. Here goes Smart. Smart still going, turning. Majorowski now turns it over. Back to McPherson. Wheelhouse. What can they do here, the Jaffers? McNaughton. Down the right, looking for Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse trots after it. Stops inside. Macbeth putting the pressure on him. Puts it into the middle, and Tim Pratt does well. It's been a very open game today, hasn't it?
It has. As you said, the size of the field plays a big impact on that. Just touching on something that you said earlier, as Alex Polozzi was subbed, he has done very well today, and as you said, he deserved the round of applause that he got. That's 2 goals in 2 weeks for the Jaffa striker.
This ball's ricocheted off Milstead, I think. It has. Yep, definitely. It's come off Milstead. The crowd are not happy, but from my perspective, that definitely bounced off Milstead and over the sideline. And Williams now. Crowd's been into it today from the start. Oh, McNaughton stepped on. Oh, a challenge. Well, McNaughton turned it over, and then really, it was a silly challenge. He just stuck his foot out, and he cleaned up Milstead, who went clattering to the ground. And he picks up a yellow card now, Riley McNaughton. So Charlestown 3, Adamstown 0, 2-0 Magic over Maitland, and 3-1 the latest score. We got South Cardiff down to the Jets youth at the moment. They're squared now. Wheelhouse looking towards Bridges. As now with McNaughton. Lee. Trying to get through. Goes over to McPherson. Back and now with Milstead. Goes to Turnbull. Turnbull racing down the right side here, Ross Turnbull. Robbie Turnbull, I should say. And it's gone over the sideline.
Ben, just another score update from around the grounds. South Cardiff have pulled one back against the Jets, thanks to a goal from Mitch Wallace. So the score is now Jets Youth 3, South Cardiff 2.
So those 4 other matches going on all over the place. Hamilton, of course, against Edgeworth, and the last score we got from that one was a 2-0 scoreline in favour of Hamilton. We've got another challenge. Wheelhouse earning himself the eye of the referee, goes into the books, and this match just heating up a little bit here. If we're baking a cake, we're just near the end, rising right up to the top. Free kick for Weston after 70 minutes gone in the game, and it's Weston and the Jaffers unable to be separated. Milstead squaring it up. Turning on the ball is McDermott. He rolls it towards the back stick, and Cowburn was chasing through. Swancott rolling it out towards McNaughton, who went for a long ball, and Majorowski couldn't control. Edwards towards the middle of the ground, and that's a poor pass there. And it's been turned over. Now Bridges looking to Majorowski on the right. Still with John Majorowski cutting back. Edwards trying to put pressure on, so too is Thornton. McPherson now. He's been a little bit of a clip there. Jaffers fans not impressed, and here's Milstead charging across his Brown, and Brown does very well, knocking it over the sideline. Down are all the Weston fans to the right of the grandstand. Can't see them because of the grandstand, but there's a big throng of Weston fans down there. As it's with the throw with Weston. Very tight opening to the second half. The first half of the second half, I should say. The opening 25 of the second half. And Blake, what have you made of it?
Much like the first half, it's started a little bit slow. Hopefully we can see a few chances converted. We don't want the game to finish 1-1. I think two good subs by Jaffers, bringing on Bridges up front. His experience will definitely benefit the Jaffers, and Tommy Smart, his speed will benefit them as well, and his work rate. So a good second half. It's a good match here in the grand final rematch at Rockwell Automation Park. There's a few challenges like that starting to come into the game. There's been several yellow cards picked up in this second half, so it's starting to get a little bit fiery too.
Yeah, the last 15, the cards come out very often from the referee. He's done a good job today. He's controlled the match well. Hasn't let it get out of hand at all. So Weston with the free kick on this right or near side, and it's going to be the free kick taken by Morris. Now with Cowburn. Now over on the right with McDermott. Cutting back is McDermott. Still going down the right, McDermott. Looking towards the line. Goes down towards the line. Ball still in, and Smart goes to Wheelhouse. McPherson. Back to Smart. Nice ball. Up towards Bridges. Bridges gets in front of Morris. Bridges all over Morris there. Referee says, we'll play advantage, thanks. Now with Milstead. Milstead, little back heel nicely to Oakley. The foot in from Williams. Here come Weston. Another corner goes their way. The sixth of the match. They've dominated the corner count, but it doesn't really reflect the game. It's been pretty even, this one. The sun back out again, bathing the ground. So a reminder at the end of the game, interviews with both coaches going up on the Bar TV Sports YouTube channel. Davidson now with Smart charging after Milstead with a big good hit. Brad Swancott again. Gee, he's been wonderful this year for Lambton. One-handed, high fives all round. McNaughton and Lee the first to come over and congratulate him. And Brad Swancott at the end of the year, we could look back and say what an important role he has played for Lambton this year. As there's the corner. Lee does well. Out towards Michael Bridges, who's going to try and hold it up. He's been knocked over in the penalty area. And it's going to be a free kick. Swancott. And referee going over towards the sideline here. And we've got a change here. Claps all round. And coming onto the ground, I didn't get the number plate of the man coming off, but it's Jamie Subat who's coming onto the ground. Equal leading goal scorer for Weston last year, and we'll just get confirmation who has come off.
It was Jake Milstead, the player who just had that shot and gave away the foul shortly after.
So it's Milstead off and Subat on.
As we mentioned earlier in the match, Jamie Subat was the best scorer for Weston last year against the Jaffers, scoring 3 of their 7 goals against the grand final winners.
Here's Bridges squaring up to McNaughton. McNaughton looking right and square, but it's a poor pass and it's been intercepted. Here come Weston down the left side. See what they can do here through Thornton. Back to Edwards. Look at this space over on the right. It's now with McDermott. McDermott's got Subat with a ton of space on the right. Here goes Subat. They've got men in the middle here, Weston. Subat cutting inside, turning Williams inside and out like a sock. Edwards with a shot, deflects over the bar. Referee, they're calling for a penalty here. Weston. Subat turning Williams inside and out. And then the ball was squared back to Edwards, and he could have finished it against his former side. Crowd went up. No penalty from the referee. Awesome atmosphere here at Rockwell Automation Park. And it's still Weston 1, Lambton 0. Bar TV match of the round. 30 and a half gone in the second half. Or 75 gone if you like the 90-minute clock. So 75 gone in the game. Final 15 we're now into. And it's going to be Nathan Morris. Weston really dominated the last 10 minutes of the game. Here's the header. Goes over. And a goal kick is the only result for Brad Swancott. Looks long, Brad Swancott. Of course, one of the best goalkeepers in this local Newcastle comp for about the last 10 years, Brad Swancott. He's proved that word today. Hits away from McDermott, and McDermott scores! The home fans are up, and Gary McDermott has finished it. We were talking about Brad Swancott. He could do nothing except watch a lovely right foot shot bend into the bottom right corner. And Weston are in front at home by 2-1. The atmosphere is electric, Blake.
Yes, a very, very good finish. 1-on-1, coolly into the bottom right-hand corner. We've got about, say, 16 minutes with injury time remaining, and I think this goal will spark both Weston and Lambton into life. As you see here, Bridges on the ball, immediately looking forward. I think we're going to see a change in tactics here from the Jaffers. I wouldn't be surprised to see either McPherson or Wheelhouse push further up the field as they look to get an equaliser. Around the grounds, I've just got a score update. Broadmeadow Magic 4 leading Maitland 0. A hat-trick to Dino Fajovic and a fourth goal there to Peter Haynes.
So domination from Magic against Maitland. So Maitland early on. Looks like they'll only be on the 1 point after 2 rounds. Magic dominant. Hamilton dominant. Weston getting the lead here. And, of course, Adamstown in trouble against Charlestown. So it'll be interesting to see how the table looks after this round. Of course, a complete review of this round, Blake, in our show, halftime show next week. The match between Adamstown and Hamilton. So be watching at halftime to have a look back at all of the results from this round. Here's Tom Smart squaring for Bridges. This is a test for Michael Bridges. Can he get his side back into the game? He's charging down the field. Subat. McPherson with the challenge. Referee says play on. Plays it down for Cowburn. Still with Cowburn, looking to square it. Lee does well. The crowd are right in this. It's electric, the atmosphere at Rockwell Automation Park. Ball now with McDermott. Goal scorer with Robert Macbeth. Home fans looking for revenge after that grand final defeat last year. It won't erase all the memories, but it'll go a fair way to pleasing these home fans today. Of course, the return leg of this one will be in round 11. Just continues the same trend, the competition. Bridges stepping over it. Seemed like he wasn't on the same page there as Tommy Smart. Smart now going down the left, trying to turn the Western defence inside. He goes down. Here's the free kick. So the Jaffers with the free kick. And it's going to be a chance for Michael Bridges to score his first goal in the NPL. He's going to have to take a pretty awesome strike from the left side of the 18. Wheelhouse is walking over to it. I doubt he's going to pretend he's going to have it because his best foot is his right and he's over on the left now. So it's going to be definitely Michael Bridges. No tricks about it. He's going to take this one and we'll see what he can do, Michael Bridges. With the right foot, he bends it. Well defended in the end.
Yeah, it was Brock Oakley there, tipping that one over the bar.
What are Weston blowing up about here? Because it was definitely a corner. I don't know what is going on, but that is a corner, and I don't know why they're arguing about that.
Yeah, it was clearly off Brock Oakley.
I think they might need might need some new glasses if they can't see that. Clean off the face of Oakley. Now with Matt Jarowski. Looking towards the middle, out came Tim Pratt, did well. Weston doing well there at the back. They've really defended the corners nicely. McNaughton to Bridges. Bridges, what can he do? He looks back stick. Majorowski's flying like an eagle at the back stick, but he couldn't get to it. They defend well there, Weston. So Lambton pushing forward. Weston scoring in the 28th minute, and probably since then they've had the better of the game, but now Lambton are going to try and come back into it. See if they can get one. Less than 10 to go here. 80 minutes and 30 seconds gone. It's Kevin Davidson on the ball, looking down the line for Majerowski. Majerowski to Davidson. Now for McNaughton, who goes down. He's turned it over. Looking long here. Oh, there's a bit of a shove. Oh, they're blowing up here, the Western fans. They thought Cowburn was fouled. Definitely was contact there. It wasn't as if he went down with no contact. That's a long ball looking for Bridges. Subat's after him, and Subat does well. Gives him a little bit of a shove. Who are you? Of course, Michael Bridges playing 3 Champions League matches for Leeds back in the 2001 season before he was injured in their final game against Besiktas from Turkey. Injured after 27 minutes, and that was it. That was the end of his Champions League career, unfortunately. So, a player that probably could have played much more than the numbers suggest if he wasn't injured. Of course, that year Leeds got through to the semi-finals where they were knocked out by Valencia. So, definitely a big year for Leeds that year, where Bridges was one of the top strikers in the squad. Unfortunately, injury prevented him. Of course, Mark Viduka playing back then. Alan Smith. Some big names in that side that play with Bridges. Kuehl as well. As now down the left, it's with Edwards. Weston trying to push forward now. Davidson at the back. Back to Davidson, Wheelhouse. Davidson again. Not a foreign position for the Jackers to be in behind. They were behind last week against the Jets Youth, although that was very early on, so it's much harder to come from behind late on. Only got 20 minutes or so to get the equaliser. Bridges looking for Majerowski. Weston doing well in defence. Those long balls in have been dealt with easily. And those results from earlier in the day. Under 19s 3-0 to Weston. 2-2 draw in the 22s, and currently 2-1 to Weston. And we've got some scores, Blake.
Yes, Dino Fajovic has scored his 4th goal of the game, and Magic lead Maitland 5-0. So a hard day out for the newcomers of the competition. Maitland FC getting beat 5-0 at home. Their first home game in the top league in Newcastle in 12 years.
Here's Bridges down the right, so a very tough game. Bridges going for a long-range effort. And it was always sailing wide. And we've got a change here. Coming onto the ground for the Jaffers is number 15, who was originally said that he wasn't playing. It's Kieran Sassim. And coming off is Pete McPherson. Blake, you're saying it's not him. Sorry, we've it's Luke Willard, who's been exchanged. So on the team sheet, 15 has been scrubbed, and we've got a new 15, so it's Luke Willard.
Yes, an ex-Jets youth player, so a big bonus for the Jaffers bringing him on. Very quick up front and can definitely finish. He'll partner Majerowski up front, and it looks like Bridges has come central. So the Jaffers going all out now with 2 up front and 1 in behind. Good play there by Bridges and Joe Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse looks wide to McNaughton. McNaughton has numbers. Back to you, Ben.
Of course, the Jaffers definitely in these first 2 rounds have a problem defensively, conceding 4 goals now in their opening not even 180 minutes of play. 175 so far. Oh, bit of a challenge on McNaughton. It was from behind, but they won the ball. Thornton. Heading down now is Davidson. Kevin Davidson at the back. And really those 2 goals from Weston have come against the run of play. Just Weston, in terms of saying that Weston were dominating possession at the time, but then really it came from a Jaffers error in that sense. If you know what I'm saying. As now with Turnbull going down the right. So Weston having the chances, then the Jaffers retaining possession and then giving it away and giving Weston the chance to put the ball in the back of the net, which they duly have twice. Lee now. Long range effort attempted there from the goal scorer for Weston, Gary McDermott. And we've got a free kick going the way of Weston. On Bar TV's match of the round, Weston 2, the Jaffas 1. 85.5 gone. And it's Ben Homer and Blake Jarrett in commentary with you for this round 2 match. Grand final rematch from last year. And I should also mention that our halftime show that we do have, we're looking for a sponsor. So if you're keen to sponsor the halftime show, just get in contact with Bar TV. Ball towards the middle of the box. Davidson away. Bridges down the line. Here's a chance for Willard. Pratt decided he wasn't going to come out. Willard now runs to Edwards, looks back, stick. And Majorowski has the ball. What can he do, John Majorowski? No one around him. He looks for McNaughton. McNaughton hits it. Great save from Tim Pratt. Low to his right. And he controlled it. That was the most important thing there from Tim Pratt. He got down and kept the ball in his grasp. You can do all you can to save it, but if you don't hang on to it, that ball's going straight back in the net because you're on the ground. What are you thinking here, Blake? Do you think Lambton can get another one? Get one back? They just haven't looked that threatening, but that's the thing.
I think the formation change really helps them, but the biggest factor here is the time that they have left. It's 42 minutes into the second half, so 3 minutes of normal time remaining, and then I'd say there'd be 3 minutes of extra time, so there's only about 6 minutes max left in this one. If they want to get a draw out of this game, let alone a win, they're going to need to start firing as soon as possible.
They have done it before, though, the Jaffas. They scored a last-minute goal against Edgeworth to win. That was at 1-1 at Jack McLaughlin last year. That was an awesome victory, that one. Morris now looking towards the middle. Wheelhouse with the header away, Oakley. So we've seen the Jaffas do it before. And here's a real chance for the McNaughton down the middle of the ground. Bridges is shot off to the right. McNaughton probably should have looked left, but goes over the Bridges. Yeah, Tommy Smart at the back. Stick Bridges looking for Smart. Smart with the header, controls it nicely on the left. Still with Smart. What can he do here? He's going to look back towards Joe Wheelhouse. It goes over the sideline. And the Jaffas, this is their big chance now. In attacking position, Wheelhouse. We've had an epic contest this afternoon at Rockwell Automation Park in the grand final rematch. Davidson, Majorowski. Majorowski goes down, and it's a free kick on the edge of the 18. So not a penalty. It definitely wasn't a penalty. It was on the edge of the 18, and here is a chance, you would think, for Michael Bridges to get us back on level terms.
Yes, Benny's last free kick was very powerful and on target. It was a lot further out and a lesser angle than this. This is as close as you can come in terms of free kick. So look to see him drive this one. We've also got Majorowski and Wheelhouse standing over it. I assume, though, it will be Michael Bridges to hit this one. And Weston have everyone.
You've got to say Bridges. You've got to think Bridges will take this. Majorowski looking at it, looking like he might take it. But it's Bridges that's going to come forward, and he hits it low and straight into the wall. A crowd cheer. Wheelhouse looking towards Lee over on the right. Going down, Majorowski goes down. Can he square it back? McNaughton, no, he got the wedge under it, and it flies over the goals. Is it a... Majorowski has gone down, the Jaffas captain, blowing up at the referee. But it didn't look like a penalty from up here, and the referee agreed with that one. So Riley McNaughton scored in the grand final last year. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that effort, Blake. Just got right under it. Probably didn't keep the head down. That's pressure for you.
Yes, that's where you want the ball to fall to someone like Bridges, Wheelhouse, McPherson, maybe even Luke Willard, Majorowski as well. Just need someone with a cool head there to hit that one home, but...
The ball now is Smart. We'll see what he can do. And he's turned it over now. And Turnbull Wheelhouse has been definitely given a little bit of a tug there. So we're now up to the 90. Going past 90 and into stoppage time now. So we're getting really, really late for the Jaffas now. we get into heartbreak stage. Oh, here's now. Goes back to Bridges. Bridges squares it back. Majorowski with a header. Oh, what a save that is from Tim Pratt. His left heel up into the bar. And the fans go up. And the score, well, how has that stayed out? Tim Pratt up and into the apex of the crossbar, I think, there. We've seen some great saves from both keepers. Tim Pratt now yelling at his troops, trying to get them to organise themselves. And Williams is going to have the throw. We're going to have a change. Trevor Morris is just going to have a little bit of time wasting here, you'd definitely say, Blake. And it's going to be Jacob Golding coming on.
Replacement of Western Workers Bear side.
So Golding on and it's Thornton off.
31, Jacob Golding.
Tim Pratt, Brad Swancott with some awesome saves. And now it's with McNaughton. So they've definitely had chances, the Jaffers, to get back into it, get it level. Smart. Goes down, no foul from the referee, Bridges. And now it's with Subat. Looking long, Kevin Davidson does well. Now with Kevin Davidson. Looking towards Edwards. Edwards, former Jaffa. Does well to control, looks down the line. And now charging after it is Cowburn. McNaughton's also after it. But it's really tough. He goes down. Oh, gee, there was theatricals there. Surely McNaughton's got a big smile on his face. There was a decent amount of diving in that, I'd have to say. Surely. But they have been doing it all day, sir, said Cowburn, I think, to the referee.
Just quickly before this free kick gets taken around the grounds, Alex Reed has scored for Maitland. It's Magic 5, Maitland 1. Dean Kelly scored for South Cardiff, and it ended up 3-3 there with the Jets youth.
It's a big result for South Cardiff. 2 weeks in a row. They never say die, don't they? And here we go. Here we go. It's the old take it into the corner and play it out. Weston now. Are we going to see the same routine? We are. We are going to see the same routine. So not great viewing this part of the game, but Lee going up the line. Majorowski.
I'd say this will be Jaffa's final chance. They need to move the ball quickly here as we move into the 3rd minute of injury
They're
time.
going to leave it late. Is Smart.
Smart. Great tackle there by Nathan Morris. Joe Wheelhouse with a tackle, but Carl Thornton stands strong.
Yeah, so leaving it very late. Referee, he's going to give a yellow card. Well, oh, he's dropped his card. The ref's dropped the card, and he gives it to Jamie Subat. Swancott is going to come in and say, give his 2 bobs worth, and it's going to be Joe Wheelhouse with the free kick. And the home fans want the whistle blown. We've already gone 3.5 minutes into stoppage time.
I'd say this one, it's about 60 out. We're going to see Wheelhouse lob it straight into the box. All the Jaffers players are going towards goal. In it comes, looking for Willard, but headed clear by Brock Oakley. It falls back to Joe Wheelhouse as we approach the 4th minute of stoppage time. We're in the 4th.
McNaughton has turned it over, and Cowburn now on the ball. You'd sense the referee's going to blow it here soon. He doesn't. Still with Wheelhouse, trying to hold off Cowburn, and this is just rocketed long by Subat, who's got the same boots on as Turnbull. Swancott, crowd still yelling for the referee to blow it. Bridges, and no, he hasn't blown it yet. He's blown an offside. The crowd think it was the full-time whistle, and you would think that this is the perfect opportunity for the referee to blow full-time. Normally happens off a goalkeeper's free kick / goal kick. And we're going into 5 minutes now almost of added time. And Weston, last year they only lost 1 match at home. Referee with a hand in the air. Still not going to blow the whistle. Of course, we did have a couple of injuries in the half. We had that injury to Oakley, who went off the ground. Remington went down for a bit as well. So referee still looking at the clock. And here's Cowburn and Brown, and Weston will begin 2015 with a win at home. Last year Weston only lost once at home, And in 2015, they're going to keep that run alive at the moment. Undefeated at home. They've got 1 from 1 in 2015. Full-time in the NPL. Bar TV's match of the round, the grand final rematch. Weston get revenge, 2-1 over the Lambton Jaffers. And what did you think of that one, Blake?
What a game. The grand final rematch was always going to be a big clash, but we got more than we bargained for here. 2-1, obviously, to the home side, Weston Bears. The first goal came in the 21st minute by Alex Palozzi after a Luke Remington assist. Rob Macbeth scored in the 28th minute to make the score 1-1, and in the second half, the only goal came from Gary McDermott in the 76th minute, and that was the winner. That's how it stayed 2-1 to Weston, picking up their first win of the season, and obviously they go ahead of the Jaffers after a draw last week.
Well, that wraps it all up here from Weston Rockwell Automation Park. Remember, follow Bar TV on our YouTube channel. So just go onto YouTube, type it in on a search engine, Bar TV Sports, and you will find all of this action, the match replay, all up there now. So Weston 2, the Jaffers 1. We've got a big match for you next round. It's Adamstown taking on Hamilton Olympic. And the last thing I will say is we've got the coaches' interviews coming up. At the end of the game, they will be on the Bar TV YouTube channel. So until next week, when we see Adamstown play Hamilton Olympic, it's goodbye from myself, Ben Homer, and Blake Jarrett.
Thank you all for coming today.
Adamstown Rosebuds meet Hamilton Olympic in round 3 of the NPL on Sunday, the 26th of April, live on Bar TV from 2:30 p.m. at Adamstown Oval.
This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are. For everyone who has triumphs, tips and tricks to share.
Who love to play with complete freedom. This is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
Hello and welcome to Halftime Banter with Blake and Ben, where we have a look back at